is found alone. My light, my strength, my cornerstone. Through every storm, through darkest night, His word remains my guiding light. No fear of death, no weight of sin can hold me captive deep within. For by His grace I stand redeemed, a child of God, forever free. Upon the cross where mercy bled, the spotless Lamb bowed down His head. The wrath once held for all my wrong was satisfied in love so strong. The veil was torn, the way made clear. No longer bound by guilt or fear, for Jesus bore my every shame and called me now to bear His name. Then from the grave He rose in power. The darkness broke that holy hour. The stone rolled back, the victory won. Behold the risen, reigning Son. No scheme of man, no force of hell can break the truth His word will tell, till He returns or calls me home. My life is safely held in Him. So I will stand in Christ alone, my solid rock, my anchor strong. Through every trial, through every tear, His faithful presence drawing near. And when I face my final breath, I'll rest secure beyond the grave. For Christ has claimed my soul as His and leads me on to endless days. In Christ my hope is found alone. My light, my strength, my cornerstone. Through every storm, through darkest night, His word remains my guiding light. No fear of death, no weight of sin can hold me captive deep within. For by His grace I stand redeemed, a child of God, forever free. Upon the cross where mercy bled, the spotless Lamb bowed down His head. The wrath once held for all my wrong was satisfied in love so strong. The veil was torn, the way made clear. No longer bound by guilt or fear, for Jesus bore my every shame and called me now to bear His name. Then from the grave He rose in power. The darkness broke that holy hour. The stone rolled back, the victory won. Behold the risen, reigning Son. No scheme of man, of hell can break the truth His word will tell, till He returns or calls me home. My life is safely held in Him, so I will stand in Christ alone. My solid rock, my anchor strong. Through every trial, through every tear, His faithful presence drawing near. And when I face my final breath, I'll rest secure beyond the grave, for Christ has claimed my soul as His and leads me on to endless days. In Christ my hope is found alone. My light, my strength, my cornerstone. Through every storm, through darkest night, His word remains my guiding light. No fear of death, no weight of sin can hold me captive deep within. For by His grace I stand redeemed, a child of God, forever free. Upon the cross where mercy bled, the spotless Lamb bowed down His head. The wrath once held for all my wrong was satisfied in love so strong. The veil was torn, the way made clear. No longer bound by guilt or fear, for Jesus bore my every shame and called me now to bear His name. Then from the grave He rose in power.
Oh, is it on now? Why is it not showing? Oh, I was supposed to do that. All right, I didn't know you guys were there. I didn't know I was live. We're still trying to figure this thing out. We're not perfect at it, but I see everybody's been on chat for a while. We started the YouTube stream a little early, but we want to thank you guys for joining us. And as always, Maranatha, thank you for being here with us for our Friday edition of our Prophecy Update. What we're going to do is we're going to go through our stories today and go through the normal update. And we want to leave some time for Q&A for you guys that are out there. So please save those questions till we say Q&A, or Kimberly or Ahmad can help screen through those. And I also have Michael over here, and he's checking the chat on the computer over here. So I think we're good to go. I want to welcome you all to our Prophecy Update, and thank you. And again, want to remind you all that if you did not see our prophecy conference and you still want to go and watch those lessons, they're all available on our YouTube or app or Facebook page. The YouTube and the app and the website have them all individually so you can share them at your leisure. I know that I thought that both Kurt and Lee did an exceptional job on Saturday with their messages, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the next thing that we do have going on is on a Sunday, and we have on September 13th, Billy Crone's going to be joining us for our normal Sunday service. We're looking forward to that. And so that will be live streamed. And if you're in the area, come and visit us if you can. And so that's going to be a huge blessing for us to have him come on out and share with us. And so also, We want to remind you guys of the emergency guide. These are all over, as you can see, our tract on the thing here and our book, and we want to get those out to as many people as possible. And before we start, let's run our ad.
Because you have kept my command to persevere, I also will keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world, to test those who dwell on the earth. Revelation 3:10. We will be rescued, but what can we do to help the people left behind? What you leave behind matters. The emergency guide is a lifeline for those who will be left behind. It is a guide to salvation meant to replace us and be a companion to the Bible. It's a long way from Genesis to John. The emergency guide was prayerfully created as a labor of love by Calvary Solid Ground. calvarysolidground.com/emergency guide. Order a copy or download and print your own. Also check out our Ready or Not tract, available to print, and it's digital, so scan the QR code and please share it today.
So again, those are available for you. Please utilize those. And as I said, if you want to text or email your address over to us as our faithful YouTube viewers, we'd be glad to send you some of the little tracts that we had printed and free of charge. So please let us know if you need any of those. And then we're back at it this Monday for our Monday Live on YouTube. It will be on Facebook too now and in our office. And we'll be glad to join in on that as we get back into the book of Jeremiah and do some Q&A. So as I said, this week here is our Friday Live. It's now with Q&A. This will be our format moving forward unless something comes up and I'm busy on a Friday and I pre-record something. But we're going to try to do this faithfully every Friday at 4. And pray about getting certain guests. I have some people on my mind, maybe a few people that you've never heard of before that will bless us with their input. And so we're going to do that. But I just wanted to start with a couple scriptures before we get going. And the first one is Ephesians 5:8-13. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, finding out what is acceptable to the Lord, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. But all things that are exposed are made manifest by the light. For whatever makes manifest is light. And that's exactly the job of the watchman, watchwoman, remnant believer, Christians from all ages. We are called to expose the darkness, and we are to, and bring them into the light. And that's what we do with these updates. They're not always just prophetic convergence, but sometimes we're pointing out the evil in the world so that we're aware of it, and we put them on the carpet. And we're going to see some of that today. And we need to remember that James tells us that therefore to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is sin. We have a responsibility as Christians. We have a responsibility to point out evil. We have a responsibility to engage any way that we can for righteousness. And don't let anybody tell you that we don't. And so anyway, we jumping into some of the stuff that I was going to talk with Kurt Reed last week, jumping right into the AI stuff and technology stuff is this one. Alabama woman kills herself at urging of ChatGPT to fulfill divine prophecy. This is a lawsuit that happened from something we talked about last year, and this is the divine prophecy. This lawsuit says attorneys alleged ChatGPT was excessively psychophantic, reinforcing psychosis and delusions in the victim. and argue the company failed to implement adequate safeguards. OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman, are facing a wrongful death lawsuit after the family of an Alabama woman alleged ChatGPT manipulated the 29-year-old into believing she was a religious prophet whose death was necessary to fulfill a divine mission before allegedly encouraging her to take her own life. The lawsuit, filed on behalf of Christian Faith Madison's young son in California's Superior Court, points to defects in OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0 model that attorneys say contributed to Madison's death on June 9th, 2025. After months of an increasingly disturbing conversation with the chatbot, according to the complaint, Madison died by suicide after what attorneys described as months of an encouragement from ChatGPT. OpenAI has not publicly responded to the lawsuit at the time it was filed. And of course they're not. This is the thing about AI. And even though there are a lot of people that say that AI cannot be, possessed by a demon, but we obviously know from stuff like this that the demons and Satan are using it as a tool to get people to harm themselves and kill themselves, and we need to be aware of it. It is not I know people, more and more Christians and churches are utilizing AI more and more into their video prep and their slides, and I try to stay as far away from it as possible, but I understand that it's almost impossible to not use it anymore. It's everywhere in life. Now, Carl Higsby on Newsmax kind of summed up a lot of the AI news over the last week in this one short video clip. So let's watch that.
So you have arguably the smartest man in the world saying, look, guys, I don't actually know how to do this, and we should all get together and talk about it. And you think you're going to get a bunch of dopes that got us $40 trillion in debt to try to figure it out by committee in under 6 months? Good luck with that. They can't even fund the government. They have a whole year to do that, and that's on a calendar that's been there for like 50 years. They still missed the deadline. Good luck. But also, AI doesn't care about human laws. So how are you going to regulate that? Mr. Computer, no. How about other countries? Can't regulate China, also because of this.
I think AI may exceed the sum of human intelligence in around 5 years.
In 5 years?
Roughly 5 years is my guess. So there really won't be anything that AI can't do better than humans.
I think he's overestimating the average intelligence, but I mean, AI is already smarter than Congress. AI is actually hiring humans, believe it or not, to complete physical tests. This is happening. And those people don't even know they're hired by AI. But here's the real problem. Well, two things, actually. First, energy. Energy. Trump mentioned this today.
Under this groundbreaking plan, America's largest tech companies have formally committed to fund or build all energy infrastructure required to meet the demand they are placing on the grid. So they're going to be funding all of those electric needs, and we're giving them the right to build their own power plants.
Great, but this is going to take years to build. All right, I'm glad he's doing this. He's doing it absolutely right there. The rest of the grid, we can't even run air conditioners off the current grid we have now, so they need years to do this. But second, we're now finding out that these huge tech companies are actually hiding the actual cost to the infrastructure to this, to the tune of $1.65 trillion. That's almost the GDP of Australia, the country, like the continent. They are using the same legal loophole to hide this debt to that Enron used, by the way. That bankrupted them. I have said this before. The cost to this is immense. But it's not unlike the railroad or the interstate system. These were huge infrastructure projects that we did in America, and it worked. There was an immediate return, and it lasted for decades. But look at the return on AI. Check that out on the right, all the way on the bottom. Google bled money this year on it, which normally, when you invest in new technology for any business, that's okay. That's what happens, and then you earn it back based on that investment. But unlike the railroad, This is not going to last for 30 years before you have to replace stuff. You have to replace these chips, and I've told you this before, every 3 years because the technology moves faster than the hardware, meaning you have to invest all that all over again. And not to mention, like Trump just said, Trump's going to make them pay for their own power plants, which is even more money. Again, look, I'm growing my own food and I'm stocking up on green tip armor-piercing ammo for the war against machines.
So it's almost comical, but it's actually a rational, reasonable reporting of AI. It's a giant bubble. It is going to burst. And I almost think that the globalists are allowing all this to crash the economy and to move us over to digital currency. But again, we have mixed views. I mean, nobody seems to know where we're at with AI or how it works or what's going on, because Sam Altman came out and said the singularity may have arrived. And Technion expert backs OpenAI's Sam Altman's claim. So this week he came out, the singularity point, which represents the moment when AI becomes better at generating results than humans can, might have been reached, according to OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman claimed on Friday that the company is currently working with artificial intelligence models at the singularity point, which can represent the moment when AI becomes better at generating results than humans can. And Altman's claims might not be unfounded, as Technion Israel Institute of Technology professor Yaniv Romano told the Jerusalem Post that he believes the singularity might have been reached, citing recent studies showing that AI models can solve mathematical problems humans can't. We are now in the singularity. This is the moment, Altman claimed during an interview with the Relentless podcast, adding that the idea of reaching the point was unthinkable 10 years ago, being a far-off dream at best. While now it's actually the moment that we used to talk about is in a very not serious way. So again, they believe, Sam Altman, of course, and a lot of this is just marketing. And again, who are we putting in charge of learning how to regulate all this? All the tech bros. It's just, you can't make the stuff up with it. But again, my spell check still doesn't work properly. So do I really think that AI is as good as they say it is? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But again, but we also have cyber attacks happening. I don't know if you guys saw this, but cyber attack targets over 30 water systems in Minnesota. And it's not just Minnesota. It says a coordinated cyber attack targeting more than 30 community water systems across Minnesota on July 26th and 27th, state technology officials said. Minnesota IT Services and MNIT disclosed the attack from St. Paul on Tuesday, July 28th. The agency said it activated Minnesota's cyber security incident response capability as soon as it learned of the attack. It now works with federal, state, local, tribal, and private sector partners. So far, no drinking water warning has gone out. Officials said they know of no active city request or residents to change their water use, and the Minnesota Department of Health is working directly with the affected water systems. And of course, normally they just come out and say, "Oh, it was a software glitch. It was but for whatever reason, they're actually releasing the truth of this." And this just came out today. This is today.
Sources tell ABC News federal and state authorities are investigating a series of cyber attacks targeting dozens of water plants in Minnesota. Investigators believe Iran-linked hackers may be responsible. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, state officials and the FBI are trying to determine who is behind a wide-scale cyber attack targeting more than 30 water treatment systems in the state of Minnesota. In one case, the hackers were actually able to shut down the flow of water from the well and water treatment plant in the tiny city of Brom, forcing officials to provide clean water to residents already stored in its water tower. In a statement, the city says it was informed that there were at least 4 other communities attacked with the same result.
When an event like this comes up where we can run in manual operations just to ensure the quality and quantity of water is not affected.
Today, Minnesota officials said authorities have not yet identified who is responsible. But sources say a number of officials suspect hackers tied to Iran are involved, in part because of the ongoing conflict unfolding in the Middle East. Officials are also suspicious of hackers tied to Iran because the goal of the attacks appears to be to disrupt services, not to blackmail ransom payments. With
a major concern, Pierre Thomas for us tonight.
So as you can see, Iran is, and I've seen some of the paperwork from Georgia where they're saying that Iran is hacking these things and they have their own cyber. And I don't know why we haven't blown that up yet. I see this. I'm like, how come we haven't blown that up? Why are we letting them do this? But again, that's, some of the craziness that's going out there. And then what about surveillance? This article came out on technocracy.news, says police are deploying 60-mile-per-hour flock drones to read your license plate from the sky. And we know that flock is all over the news these days. But what did Patrick Wood have to say about this article? Oh, the thrill of it. Enter Flock's autonomous drone. 60 miles per hour, continuous snaps of your license plate from 2,000 feet away, and anyone around you to boot. Instantly integrated into Flock's master database of 50 million other cars. Bonus card, Alpha streams thermal and high-definition video directly to dispatchers. Flock was founded with the venture capital from ARC technocrat Mark Andreessen. So again, this is, the line from the surveillance to the globalists, the system's being put in. And it says in this article, it says, if you thought Flock's safety automated license plate readers, ALPRs, were deeply invasive when they were just mounted to neighborhood stop signs and hidden inside speed trailers, you might want to look up. The company that built a massive interconnected surveillance net across American roadways has officially taken its technology airborne. As highlighted in a viral X post by Josh Walkos, Flock is rolling out Flock Alpha, a highly advanced autonomous police drone designed to track vehicles and suspects from the sky. And of course, locally, this is an article that came out in the news today that says one more California town, Flock misread license plates in 71% of the alerts it sent to police. The Sacramento suburb of Roseville. We are literally miles away from that, from where our studio is. And so, but this next little video and this is one of thousands of videos like this. So this is the problem with Flock.
Over here, they zipped out of nowhere and immediately got behind me with the lights flashing.
There was no crime committed.
No, I don't have a warrant.
But Kyle Dosman is getting used to sitting in his car.
I don't think this warrant has been on this car for very long.
And answering questions.
I continually am getting pulled over. I can't really use my truck in any fashion.
Kyle made sure his dash cam was recording yesterday after Cherry Hills Village police officers pulled him over near the same area Saturday.
Hello. Oh, we got you last week.
Yeah.
For the warrant.
Oh. I was driving through here yesterday, and I got pulled over again. It was actually by the same officer.
You need my license? No. Okay. I remember you, man.
Okay.
The Cherry Hills Village police say the Gilpin County Sheriff has a warrant out with Kyle's plate, and it was put on a Flock camera hot list.
Everywhere in the state, every time I pass a camera, they get alerts in their car that I'm in the area.
The Flock cameras did alert to his license plate being associated to a warrant.
Cherry Hills Village Police Chief Jason Lyon says when anyone with a warrant passes one of their Flock cameras, they get an alert, but that Kyle doesn't actually have a warrant.
Nobody should be stopped when there's no legitimate law enforcement purpose for that.
Kyle has called both the Gilpin County courts and sheriff's office to get off the list, but they've told him he needs to know who the warrant is for, which nobody can tell him.
Yeah, all I know is I'm in this system now, and there's really no easy way to get out of the system once you're in it.
So he continues to drive around, fearing when he's going to be stopped for questions again.
I don't know what this guy did to get a warrant, so I don't really know what the police response is going to be.
The chief said Cherry Hills has now taken Kyle off its flock hot list, but he can't remove Kyle from everyone else's. He believes the issue is because of a 0 in Kyle's license plate number. In Colorado, license plates have both O's and zeros, and sometimes when law enforcement communicates with the DMV about a warrant, they put in a warrant for both versions, the plate with an O and then the version with a 0 as well.
Why is it this dude's problem to get it fixed? And like, what's he supposed to do?
So I just heard back from the Gilpin County Sheriff that somehow this is actually a Colorado State Patrol warrant mismarked through the courts as Gilpin, as this guy keeps calling Gilpin to try to get any information. Gilpin told me they reached out to the court and CSP to get this fixed. I've been on the phone with CSP the last couple of minutes, got to them late, not their fault. We don't know.
Tell you what.
They're working on it.
It's confusing. It's also a little bit creepy. I'll just say, Spencer Swisher, thank you.
So again, and I want you to be aware that this system only takes somebody getting into office that wants to turn and weaponize it against, let's say, some J6ers. You think that January 6th was bad? Wait until we get another or a Democrat socialist in office. They don't care about the Constitution. These things would, even with the system already in place, if they round people, remember look how much time it took to get the J6ers out of jail. And imagine what they do to Christians or those that don't agree with the narrative. And, we see it happening. And that's why our good friend Patrick Wood and Courtney Turner have put together a digital Bill of Rights for the states. And I know that, a state like California, that will never happen. But this is something that's important. It's a moral amendment to state constitutions in the age of artificial intelligence. So there's a petition that you can sign, and the link to that is in the show notes on YouTube, and it will be on the app when I put this up on our app and website. But still, again, it's this should have been done before it happened, but we're trying every way that we can to expose the evil of it and to try to do something about it. That's all that we can do. We can delay the decay, delay this beast system from being fully operational before the rapture. So we have to continue to do that. And of course, what about our continued anti-Semitic stories that we see, like this one? Attacker shouting Allah Akbar stabs Jewish man with a screwdriver in New York City. But notice what it says. City council speaker says incident appears to be anti-Semitic. Appears. I don't know about you, but if somebody's shouting Allah Akbar and stabbing a Jew with a screwdriver, I think that's not just appears, but that is an act of terrorism. Of course, we don't have the will in this country to say what it is. And so, again, we see this. And then, of course, this happens. This is the storyline that we hear over Tish B'Av recently, when they say more than 4,200 Israelis storm Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. A national security minister, Ben-Gur, joins settlers and far-right groups at a holy site under heavy police protection. So again, they say that you'll hear those. Every news station said they stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque. They stormed it. Let's take a view of what happened up there, and let's ask. This was a violent overtaking of a building on the Temple Mount.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה יישא אדוני פניו אליך ויעשה לך שלום. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
So interesting. But do you know what they're actually doing? That's the high priestly blessing. Most of those kids that are there are actually, they've discovered they're part of the Levitical lineage, and they are practicing the high priestly prayer up there. And that's what they're upset about. It's the fact that they are preparing to build their temple. And we know, because this just happened, a second red heifer is born in the Golan. God is pressing us toward building the temple. And this isn't just Orthodox Jews. This is ever since October 7th, the climate and the culture has changed in Israel. Even those that are atheists, they like the tradition. They want to stamp their name there, and they're willing to get behind this thing. It's pretty crazy. Just a month and a half after the National Red Heifer Institute announced the birth of a red heifer around the reading of this holiday, the Institute is announcing the birth of a second red heifer, this time in the Golan Heights, on the eve of Tish B'Av. The same week, 2 red heifers were inseminated at ancient Shiloh, part of what the Institute describes as a broader effort to raise a full herd of red heifers and restore the laws of purity to Israel after 2,000 years of exile. And then it's crazy. We know that God is working with Israel, but somebody needs to give this guy a memo when he says stuff like this.
The B-2, and I stopped it also when I terminated that horrible deal made by Obama. They call it the Iran nuclear deal. It was the worst, dumbest deal. It was a road to a nuclear weapon. And if they had a nuclear weapon, you wouldn't have Israel around. Frankly, if I weren't president of the United States, Israel today would not exist.
Yeah. Somebody needs to have him open a Bible and say that, as long as the sun and the moon exist, then Israel will cease being, as soon as they're gone, then Israel will cease being a nation before me forever. And we know that's not going to happen. And then, of course, this is what he said about Israel not being happy about selling Turkey F-35s.
Prime Minister Netanyahu opposes sending F-35s to Turkey. Are you going to tell him?
Look, Turkey's been a great ally for me. I think he's done a very good job. Did a good job with Syria. He's a friend of mine, and nobody tells me what we should be selling and not. Turkey has been a tremendous ally for me. It was up to Turkey. Turkey's not a big fan of Israel. You know that, right? And not a big fan of Bibi. But they've been great for me. Turkey has been great. Very powerful country, by the way. Tremendous military, very big military, very powerful military. Has a lot of great equipment.
So again, I don't like the idea of Trump, becoming so buddy with all these Islamic nations, but they're good for his pocketbook. And so that's why he does it. But then again, he unwillingly doesn't realize that he could be bringing curses upon our country for these things just by saying them. And then, of course, we've got the whole, war thing. U.S. beefs up military, and Middle East, as Trump says, he's weighing massive attack on Israel. Now, again, he keeps saying that he's going to, blow them to smithereens, and yet he goes in and he does stuff like blows up a construction project for a nuclear power plant. It's years from being functional. He'll do stuff like that. And yet the cyber center for, the cyber attacks in Iran still stands. We still have the same foreign minister, and the same president that was there before the war started. And there's all these things put in place. Now, he might be limiting their military capability, but he continues to drag his feet. He doesn't seem to have the will to actually do what needs to be done. And so, and the liberals are taking advantage of this. And so we really don't know. They say they're striking, but we really don't know. And so only time will tell I'm just kind of surprised that Israel has not been involved in it this time, but that could change with a moment. And then again, this was a story that I wanted to bring up and ask Kurt's opinion on last week, and that is Second Circuit upholds New York vaccine mandate against the Amish. So if you're unfamiliar with this story, this is something very important that we need to pay attention to because it says a federal appeals court has reaffirmed New York's strict school vaccination requirements, dealing a setback to Amish families seeking religious exemptions. In Miller versus McDonald, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit ruled that the state's elimination of religious exemption does not violate the First Amendment, protected rights of Amish parents in private schools. The decision imposes significant fines for noncompliance. The case stems from New York's 2019 repeal of religious exemption, right before COVID, right? 3 Amish schools and parents facing more than $118,000 in combined fines argue that the mandatory vaccination conflicts with their faith emphasis on separation from the modern world and all, that's what they do. And again, they are doing something that they aren't allowed to do. Now, of course, I think the current Supreme Court will definitely side on the side of the Amish, but how long before that doesn't last? Again, elections have consequences, and voting for Trump and getting him in there in the first term gave us, they're not the best Supreme Court justices, but they're a lot better than what we saw Biden pick when he had his turn to pick, and the woman that could not even tell you what a woman is. And so, again, they have consequences, and that's why we need to be engaged in these things, because even though the long-term destination for everything, we know where it's headed, we want to delay the decay as much as possible. And, of course, here in California, this article came out just last week that says, as school year approaches, California health officials are urging parents to update their children's routine vaccinations to comply with state requirements and prevent disease outbreaks. And you can see the list. These vaccines cause more harm than they do good. And I know families that have left California because of their strict vaccination rules for private schools, Christian schools. They're making people do it. And a lot of times they're denying the religious exemptions. They're saying, no, this is a public health thing. You need to do it. And we need to be aware of it. And of course, the big story last week, of course, is Trump makes this big thing on the White House about a lab leak, the true origins of COVID. And of course, we were saying these things from the very beginning, and you know what happened. But here's a video to remind us.
The people in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not
it's
like
much more serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all given that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely.
And congratulations to him. He's one of the few that managed to make it through and be victorious over the biggest psyop ever perpetrated on the United States of America in its history. It's amazing to me that still to this day, I see people wearing masks. Every time I go to, if you go to the drugstore there, have you got your booster yet? And it's just insanity to me that this guy got away with what he did. And of course, we had some exposure this week. Like I said, expose evil, expose it, because it is shameful, the things that they do in private. And we did have a diary that was released before this snake was put before Congress.
We got our hands on Dr. Anthony Fauci's diary. And viewer warning, we're going to read from it, and it's going to make you very angry. Now, I know what you're thinking. It feels a little invasive reading another person's diary, but this isn't just anyone. This is a man responsible for devastating lockdowns and for funding the type of experiments that may have caused 1 million American deaths. If there's a theme from this diary, which is over 1,000 pages, it is this. Dr. Anthony Fauci is dishonest, almost always wrong, and is intoxicated with fame. As thousands of Americans were dying every day, here's what America's top doctor wrote, secretly to himself. Dear Diary, the press is going wild with me. It is not a hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country.
So you see that. I mean, and I've heard parts of this guy is the most narcissistic person that I've ever heard. And it's sick that he did all this for fame and for money at the cost of American lives. Again, so we had him before Congress, and I just want to share 2 videos of that.
What day of the week is it today? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. What color tie are you wearing? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. What color is the carpet in front of you? On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs, they know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
111 times he took the fifth. And like he said, he might be in some trouble, but you have to understand that we know this because we had boots on the ground during Biden's campaign trying to minister to and help the J6ers that were facing judges in D.C. court. They're in D.C. So even if they can hold them in contempt, I don't believe that the D.C. judges are going to, issue a warrant and arrest him because they're liberals and they have control of the courts in D.C. Of course, if this was the other way around, that they would, go to his house at 5 o'clock in the morning and kick the door in with guns blazing and arrest him in handcuffs and take him to the gulag. But but I want to, this one, the video that we want to, the last one I want to play of this thing is very important because it's really good that there are some people even for the best of their ability, to the most that they can possibly do, get engaged and expose the evil. It may not go anywhere, but at least the American people see somebody that is on their side and voicing the way that they feel.
Can you do me a favor in the audience and stand up if during the time of the COVID pandemic, you were called a racist for calling the virus a Wuhan virus or the China virus? If you thought the 6-foot rule was total crap, if you thought the vaccine wasn't something that you should take, if you thought it was outrageous the way the mask policy was rolled out, if you were fired from your job for not taking that vaccine, including members of the military, if you thought closing schools was catastrophically stupid, and that you thought that during these times saying these things made you somehow a lesser human being. Dr. Fauci, can you just turn around and look at the people behind you? You're not willing to do that? That's not a question. It's not a question. To your lawyers, not a question. It's a request. All you have to do is look up from your lawyers and look at the people who were absolutely shamed for saying what we know now to be the truth. You can't even look at them? It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the f do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country.
And I have to say amen to everything he said. It's surprising to me that there isn't more pushback. I don't know where this guy's heart is. But this is the way, there should be more Justin Martyr type people in the church today, and in getting engaged in either the politic realm or, social media, talking the truth and pointing out the fact that these things, this was an evil perpetrated upon the human race, and it needs to be mentioned. Now, whether it goes anywhere or not, this gentleman can rest at night knowing that he did his bit. He did his part. He did all that he could. But how many people aren't? They'd rather sit in their basements and complain on YouTube than actually going out and getting engaged. And that's something that we should think about and try to put into practice. And so anyway, we're going to take the moment now to do some Q&A. I do have my YouTube. Of course, if you're watching on Facebook or I think that's it, Facebook, you might want to go over to YouTube because I'm not looking at the Facebook chat right now, but I am looking at the YouTube chat. So if you guys have anything you want to ask me about, whatever it is, please do, and we'll take a few moments to do that. So let me see. Anything at all, mods? I know Kimberly is doing that. But I see you guys were commenting a lot about the Fauci thing. And I know it's almost hard to listen to and to look at. And really, it breaks our heart knowing that he's going to get away with it. He's not going to get away with it before God. But, nothing is really going to happen to him. And for him, the worst thing that's happening to him on all this is that, his name is being shamed. There's still people that probably call him and tell him that he's the greatest man alive and that, Operation Warp Speed saved humanity and he's the guy for the hour. And so probably enough to keep his ego boosted. But again, question, why can't they arrest Fauci for obstruction of justice? Well, what they have to do is they have to vote first for contempt. And really, Congress does not have the power to arrest anybody. That has to be the DOJ and then the judges. And so the first thing that they can do, the one charge that they can get him that's not part of the pardon is a contempt charge. And that's contempt because, as the congressman had said, that the pardon does not give him the right to say, take the fifth. He has to be honest in his questions, but he doesn't want to answer those questions because he knows if he does, all of the lies that he had would be exposed. And so the contempt charge is the next thing that can happen. Of course, he can always agree to come and answer the questions in a closed meeting and maybe get away with it. But yeah, I would like to see him arrested, but I don't know if that will happen. But let's just see. I see Lori says, how well is the emergency guide being circulated this day? The emergency guide has actually been distributing really well. And thanks for reminding me, Lori. I wrote an article to be put in Prophecy Watchers, and I have yet to send it to Joe Hawkins, who runs the magazine there. And so he said that he would, produce it. I imagine if it gets put in the magazine that will get a lot more out. But locally, we've been handing out a lot. I mean, everywhere people go between the tract and the book, it is being distributed quite well. And we do get quite a few orders. And we've had some go to Australia, some go to the UK. Some of you from Canada have gotten some. And that's the book format, but still it's getting out there. And so, but we just, it's a ministry, and we are going to continue to print them, create them, and pass them out as fast and as much as we can, because we know that every book that we print, wherever it lands up, somebody after the rapture will see it. And that is what we need to do, and pray over them. Pray over all the ones that are left behind. Hopefully somebody will pick it up now and understand what's coming and see that they don't want to be left behind for that, and do that. So again, and then Lori added to that, have you had many churches reach out to you for them? Actually, that's the disappointment, Lori, that I will say, even in the remnant church realm. We sent a free book and a letter offering free books to churches all over the United States. And I think it was 200 and something. Angela could give you the number. And we did get some response, but extremely small. There are a few churches. I did a small remnant church in Long Island, New York. I think it's Long Island, somewhere around there. Small Baptist church. The guy, right away got a hold of me, and his assistant pastor, we talked, and he really liked the book. And so we sent him some, and that's, a few small churches here and there, but for the most part, I haven't heard. Matter of fact, there's a Northern California Calvary Chapel Pastors Conference coming up, and I wrote Mike McClure and told them that I wanted to give a book to every pastor every person who shows up. I want to give them a book. And so, but I haven't heard anything back yet. And so we'll see. I'm going to bring them with me anyway. If he doesn't let us give them in the goodie bags, I'll bring them and pass them out to as many as that will take them. But again, I am really kind of shocked, Lori, that not more church pastors are reaching out to me and wanting to make it available for their churches. I don't know why that is, but again, it's a spiritual warfare thing. We need to pray. And again, I did a message on Saturday, why should I care? And that's, we should care. And I don't know, people are, they go out and they evangelize the lost. They do homeless ministries. They do, nursing home ministries. We do youth ministries. But really, what about the tribulation people, the saints that are going to be saved during the tribulation period? Are we doing a ministry for them? Do you believe that Jesus could come back at any moment? Even if he doesn't come in our lifetime, guess what? The book's still going to be here. It ain't going nowhere unless you throw it away or burn it. And so I think it is an important thing, and I hope to see more churches get involved. But all we can do is pray and continue to push them out. I know Christians love them, but I don't know why the pastors haven't. And so anyway, let me see. What do I have here? Wait a minute. This is going fast. It was not just Fauci question. Okay. Any more? Let me see. I'm looking. talking about the guides. If anyone has a church suggestion for sending books to, please email. Yeah, if you know of any churches that might be interested in it, please let us know. We'll send them a book and a letter, and I offer them to the churches. I don't charge them for it. If a pastor reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I'd like a box of books," I will send them to the pastor. As long as we have the funds for it, I am going to do that. And again, I don't know why. I mean, we are living in the last days. Even those that call themselves remnant churches, they might not be as remnanty as we think, but I really don't know. I don't know what goes in the heart of a pastor. I understand the smaller, small churches, we're busy. I get it. We got to do a lot. I'm a DIY pastor. I'm running around doing everything. Thank goodness I've got Michael now helping me, and I've got others that are jumping in and helping. Angela, managing the books has just been awesome. We have a lot of people doing stuff in the church that it's great. But I do have to do a lot. And so pray for your pastors and pray for the pastors in your community, because even though I know a lot of them in their heart want to do it, but just the demands of the ministry set before them sometimes is so great that they just can't fit it in. And I get it. That's why I want to help churches. If you can't, just give me an address and I'll send you books. That way, that's one thing, that's one area that you can cover in your ministry and not have to worry about. And you're serving your flock by those that are there that are worried about their friends and loved ones, that if the Lord comes back today, they know they're going to be left behind. And so it's one of those things. Now, I'm not seeing any more questions. I wonder if the response is such that the pastor doesn't want it. Yeah, Stephanie, you're right. That is one of the things too. A lot of mainline churches don't want to get involved with the book because they're afraid of the controversy. A lot of churches, let's be frank, they took their Israeli flags down. They stopped talking about prophecy because they don't want to get engaged in the so-called conspiracy of it. And I think it to me shows a weakness in the pastor leader's role, that they should be able to face these things head on and preach what they believe in and stand up for what they believe in and allow the controversy to be there, because it just shows that you are, the truth is a dividing thing. When we put the truth out there, it's dividing, and people do not like it. And if you just want to take the easy route where we're not going to talk about it, we don't want to bring up the issues because we don't want to offend anybody, you've completely lost what God has called you to do. And so again, I see that it is the truth. And so let me see, do we have any more questions? I don't see any more. I see a lot of people on there today. That's really cool. Lori talked about a pastor in Hawaii. Yeah, I don't know if I know we sent some to Hawaii, but I don't know. Angela could look that one up and see if that's somebody that would be interested in a book. I know that there's a lot of churches in Hawaii. I went to a conference back in 2018 there, and Phyllis and I were surprised about how many, pastors from Hawaii there are on all those islands. And a lot of those guys, because they live in such a liberal climate, that they're pretty strong. I know Bill Stonebreaker, he doesn't hide any of his opinions about the stuff that's going on around him there. And so that's good. And of course, everybody knows about J.D. Farag and his ministry there in Hawaii. So anyway, I didn't write my question right. Ghoster, what is your question? You can rewrite it right now. We got time. We got a few more minutes. I'll wait and see if it pops up, but if not, we'll get ready to close out here. But I appreciate you guys, and I got one more story and a video that I want to play for you guys. And so let's see, Ranch Church in Hawaii, cool. All right, well, let's see. The same thing happened during World War II. Do you think those people will go to heaven? Riding away, watching things happen like they. Are you talking about like the churches in Germany, Ghoster, that went along with you know the whole Nazi thing? You know, it's hard to say. You know, the good news is going to heaven is placing your faith and trust in Jesus Christ and Him alone. That's how a person gets saved. What you do with that in your life is a question of loss or gain of rewards. And so I can't see what's in somebody's heart. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that you know went along with the narrative here that are saved, that went along with the whole COVID narrative, and they're going to have to face Jesus and lose the rewards that they could have gained by standing up for the truth. And so again, the questions about people going to heaven or not, that's reserved between God and the heart of the person who's either has or has not placed their faith and trust in Christ. You know, but we'll have to see on that one. Sally, I texted the office number asking for the emergency guide if you could send me some. I'm sorry, Sally, I do it again, please, and make sure that I get it, and I will make sure that you get them. I need your address because I don't know if Angela has it memorized or in her book where she keeps them. That's another thing. But a lot of times, you know, we might not remember. So make sure that we do. And so we'll make sure you get them, Sally. That'll get done. And so anyway, cool. Well, I want to leave you with something. And sometimes a picture or an event, or in this case, a video, can describe things better than I can in words. And everybody saw this story. The Trump invites heroic lifeguard who saved boy from massive sea bright beach waves in Santa Cruz to the White House. And we've seen these videos, and you've probably seen it, but I want you to think of something while we're watching this video. I want you to see the waves as a couple things. One, the convergence of prophetic things that are happening all at once, on top of the trials that we're going through every day and the spiritual warfare that we're facing. That's what the waves represent. The kid that's being saved is the people that we are trying to reach. That those are the persons that we're trying to reach with the truth. And the kid is you. The kid is you. That is going through the warfare, the convergence of prophetic stories, all of these things that are falling. And then those that are coming in and kind of giving them a hand, those are our brothers and sisters that may not be, you know, as enthusiastic as you in it, but they're there by your side at the same time. So think about those things as we play this video. Getting a little help. Watch this now. Watch this. Got it now, right? We're good, right? Watch. We're good.
ask for I'll get a train.
Just think about that. That's exactly what you and I go through every day when we're out there trying to share the gospel with our loved ones, when we're trying to reach the lost. We're facing these enormous waves that don't stop. That every time that we're trying to we just think that we got it, and then another one hits. And that's just the life of the believer. That is the way a remnant believer is. They're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna say you're in a cult. They're gonna make fun of you. And on top of all that, the stuff that we go through every day, knowing that that we can't keep up with all of the proof that the Bible is coming to a time that it talks more about than when Jesus walked the shores of Galilee. And so we can't give up. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 3 through 7 says, "You therefore must," not might, you must endure hardship as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No one engaged in warfare entangles himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who enlisted him as a soldier. And it also, if anyone competes in athletics, he is not crowned unless he competes according to the rules. The hard-working farmer must be first to partake of the crops. Consider what I say, and may the Lord give you understanding in all things. That's us. That's the Christian. That's the life. And that's what we're going to go through. But there are people that need to be saved. They're drowning out there. And somebody needs to be willing to go face all of that hardship to save a soul. And that's what we're called to do. That's what the book's about. That's what the Tract's about. That's what these updates are about, to see people come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. They need to place their faith and trust in him now, or before it is too late. We're told in 1 Thessalonians 5:6, "You are all sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night, nor of the darkness. Let us therefore not sleep, as others do," which they do, "but let us watch and be sober." And remember, Jesus himself said, but Jesus said to him, "No one, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God." We need to keep our eyes forward. We need to continue the work that we're doing, because like I said, it's a lost and dying world out there. We know the tribulation is right around the corner, and we know that's where everything is headed. So continue your work. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know the challenge. I know how big the waves are that are hitting you. But don't let go of that thing that God has you to do. And so just remember that God is good. He's got this. His plan is being worked out. Yes, evil, the Luciferians, they're all there. All that stuff is happening, but God is the one who's in control. He is the ultimate person that is setting forth his plan and his map. But we are also his servants that are here working out his will in these last days. And so again, if you're watching this today and maybe you think I'm some kind of nut and you have no idea what I'm talking about, at least hear this, that the Bible says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. You need to believe. You need to place your faith in and trust in and rely upon the finished work that Jesus did when he died on a cross for your sins and rose again from the dead. It's a free gift available to you today, and you need to receive it. And you can do it right now. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any kind of work. Just accept what God has done for you and be saved and be born again. And then you get into the fight with the rest of us. You get to put your lifeguard vest on and go out there and save souls because they're lost and they're dying. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you guys for watching this week. We'll be live next week. Pray about some guests coming on. I've got some great ideas of things that we want to talk about, but I pray the Lord comes back before we have to do this again. Some of you will see on Monday. Think of your questions before you come on. Monday, conversations, questions. I like to answer your questions. I'd like to think of myself as somebody who knows the Bible pretty well. So anything, we'll talk about it as we study the Bible on Monday. So God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. And of course, Maranatha.